Hello my friends of Cosmic Agency, my name is Gosia and today we are entering a new episode of Interstellar Life and we are talking about the Suzy class fighter ships. Suzy is going to be explained in the video what these letters S-U-Z-Y actually mean. It doesn't come from the name Susanna, it's nothing to do with the name. So just wait for that. It's first of its kind, the Suzy class fighter ship, and it was used by Swaruu, all her variants, Swaruu, and it was so-called Suzy 1. Suzy 1. Now Yazhi is going to be describing in this video her Suzy, which is also Suzy 1. She's going to be describing what's inside. This information was given a few years back and it's still valid in a way that the Suzys that are now in operation, I'll explain which ones are those, are very similar to this model, Suzy 1. They are just a bit larger. Yazhi basically had the same one, Suzy 1, as Swaruu. It was the same ship, jumping around. She doesn't have it anymore because those Suzys have been programmed, and they have been programmed by Swaruu 2, Swaruu, her variant 2, because there are 2 to 9 variants of Swaruu. Long story, you can watch this in the video about who is Swaruu. Somewhere there in the list of videos, and that Suzy was programmed to look for another Swaruu when she's in need. So a few years ago, which was actually explained in one of the anecdotes that I did a few months ago, that Suzy left, Yazhi let her go, so she no longer has it. Athena and Mari, they have Suzy 2. It's called Suzy 2. Athena also has Suzy 6, and she uses them both. It's going to be explained more in a Super Suzy, in the Super Suzy video, which hopefully will come next. As I said, this information here is valid because the insides are very similar. The other Suzys, the newer ones, are a bit bigger but similar inside. Now about how it looks, of course we don't have any photo or any image that is exactly like Suzy, but there, closely enough, there is a ship that appeared in Star Wars, and that's Phantom X-70B, and it looks quite similar to what Suzy looks like. So I'm going to use that model as a resemblance model for Suzy. Now other ships that appear in the video are of course AI generated, and all the insides, all the interiors, the rooms, and how everything is there is also AI generated. I try to actually generate those images according to the descriptions as best as I could, but of course AI programs are not perfect, so I was not able to have exact descriptions, images descriptions of what Suzy is like, so it's just more or less. And also I have to mention about Yazhi pictures, because here I'm going to use images of Yazhi also generated by the AI program, just to illustrate a little bit the scenes. It's as if Yazhi is taking us on this journey, on this tour inside Suzy. So her images are going to appear, but AI generated, unless I specifically say that it is Yazhi photo. So in the beginning there's going to be Yazhi photo, a little bit edited, and then there's going to be total AI generated images, and then, and it's going to be indicated, there will be a few images where actually Yazhi's real face is merged with the scene and with the AI generated image. And actually I received some help from CIC on this, spontaneously came out, so thanks guys for that. But it's going to be indicated which image has her face merged. About that curious feature that Suzy 1 had about, listening to another Swaruu and going away, when another Swaruu is in need. That feature supposedly, from what I understand, it will be confirmed in Super Suzy video. It has been programmed and put in only in Suzy 1. So Yazhi had that ship and Swaruu of Erra, but Athena and Mari have Suzy 2. Also Decay, Dorkalel, because it's not just Swaroos that have Suzys. There were some other people in the past, and Dorkalel also has one. And he doesn't have this feature. It was checked, and he doesn't have the feature to look for another decay when another decay, Dorkalel, is in need. The Suzy ships are totally 100% female design. They are female design, and they are used, but not only for the sand clock programs. And it will be explained in this video by Athena what exactly the sand clock program is. Well, a short description of the program, but it is basically an elite group of fighter pilots with temporal manipulation knowledge and skills. So basically time traveling squadrons. So the Suzys are used by those squadrons. But not only, there is also another user for Suzys, and this was actually explained by Athena just a few days ago, and this is a defense fleet for the queens. So that's where the Suzys are also used. And sand clock elite groups do not only use Suzy, they also use another type of ship, and it will be explained in this video as well. The Suzy ships are super special. They are much different. They are more equipped with classified technology than other fighters, and that technology, from what I understand, is even classified for Taigetans. So only that really special elite core group that is trained to use Suzys know what technology is there. So enjoy the video. I will try to make a Super Suzy video right after it, but it depends on Athena, if she's going to be available, if I'll be able to complete the information. And the Yazhi video coming up after that, hopefully as well. I'm actually waiting for a voiceover from Claudia for Anneka. So when I have that, I'm going to start working on that as well. Enjoy the video.
Originally in Spanish. Suzy is a Suzy-class fighter-class spacecraft. It is the first of a series of 3 such ships built. Suzy, this one, has the registration TPT-155. TPT stands for Taygeta, Pleiades, Temer, translated, of course, as a place of registration. TPE stands for Taygeta, Pleiades, Erra, and number. The size of Suzy is like a medium-sized apartment, oddly shaped as it is long and not very wide. The ship is 93 meters long in total, but inside the living space is much smaller. It is 2 entire floors, one on top of the other. The bottom floor is just engineering and maintenance. Then there is the main floor. Upstairs, only access to systems that are overhead, like one of the artificial gravity generator poles. But the latter is not a whole floor. You can only crawl in there to repair something. Also, there are the air ducts and all that. The hull is electric blue. On the sides of the ship, the flight emblem, already well known, that did not come from Taygeta, but was adopted since the ship arrived here on Earth. The creator of this emblem is human. This ship is in the shape of what we call sci-fi. It is long, with wide fins at the back, cabin at the front and engines at the back. Very similar to this image, but without those things they put on the wingtips. That is, same basic shape, but with oval wingtips. In this image, the plasma engines are very similar in shape. About the discoidal-shaped ships, Taygeta does not use large discs as the shape of major ships. Discoidal ships exist, but they are support ships. But they rarely or never enter the Earth's atmosphere because they can be vulnerable to attack. Only well-equipped fighter ships like this one or those of the Hashmalim, also inside Teleka, enter. Back to Suzy. As I was saying, the ship is very big outside, but inside it is not so big because the living space is much smaller. Walking into the ship directly from the front and from the outside, you will see a wide metal ramp about the size of a car lift, and it has been used for that. You walk up the ramp, and on each side there are hydraulic pistons that raise and lower it. Some pieces of technology are simple and work well. You don't need to implement more complex things that tend to fail. So, you go all the way up the ramp and you are in the cargo area, which is the entrance. Towards the back, you have the interior space of a two-car garage, one behind the other, but 1.5 times wider, with fasteners on the floor for vehicles or equipment. On the sides, you have containers as storage cans with their lids. They are rectangular for loading anything and have orange elastic nets bordering the entire wall, similar to what you would see in a cargo plane. Everything to hold equipment and cargo in general. Either verbally or by pressing a button with an up and down arrow present there, or by thought instruction, you walk up the ramp with a metallic sound followed by sounds of locks and seals being compressed. Once here, if you walk forward in the ship, you pass through a narrow corridor about 5 meters long with transparent walls on each side covering hundreds of light indicators. And it is the access point to the computer or central brain of the ship. Then you come to a door that slides sideways. It is operated by compressed air with its characteristic sound where you enter the bridge or cockpit. Inside, it is shaped like a half moon. That is, half moon to the rear with the access door to the front with metallic gray walls. It has 7 black seats with black headrests with the ship's emblem embossed on them. The seats have copper-colored stitching. There are 3 sets in the rear, followed by 2 in front, then a step, and 2 more to the front, pilot and co-pilot. From the step, the floor is transparent. There are 2 consoles in front of the last 2 seats, and in front of them there are 2 joysticks, similar to this image. And to the sides of the seats, which also slide forward and backward at will, with consoles and all, there are 2 joysticks that go up from the floor. Very basic, but similar to this image. As I was saying, the cockpit is completely transparent at the front, top and bottom. Although outside it is not appreciated in the same way, since the hull outside does not delimit the cabin as it is seen inside. There is no glass or anything like that. It is the same hull metal made of polymorphous titanium, which is transparent as well. And it has the same strength as the rest of the hull of the ship. As controls, holograms pop up around you that you can resize and reposition at will as displays up front. And they give you navigation data and the physical position of the ship as an artificial horizon, altitude, linear velocity, ascent speed, and engine data. Leaving the bridge behind, we walk through the pneumatic door, down the hallway, arriving again at the cargo area with another door that I did not mention as it is usually always open. We walk to the bottom of the cargo area, going around the ramp if it is under, or walking over it if it is up, where we enter through another pneumatic door into a long hallway with more pneumatic doors on each side. The second door to my right, walking to the back, is my bedroom. We open the door that slides to the left and enter. To my right, there is a long closet with some of my clothes, with aluminium-colored doors. They are manual, sliding sideways by hand. In front of that closet or clothes closet is the door, entrance to the bathroom. We go in there. To the left, there is a door and a shower over a bathtub that can be filled with water. To the right, there is a long vanity with a mirror and drawers underneath. At the back, there is what would be the equivalent of a toilet. Above the dressing table with the mirror, there is a machine that mixes makeup colors and shades. You can create or reproduce the shades you want, and of course, there is a special dryer that automatically does some hairstyles for you. I personally never use it. Leaving the bathroom to the left, there is the bedroom itself. On the left-hand side, with my back to the front door, there is a special table with 7 computer screens and a black chair with copper-colored stitching with the ship's emblem on the headboard again. Behind me, there is a long armchair, also black. On the wall, separating the bathroom from the bedroom, there are more doors with access to storage and clothing. Opposite this wall, that is, to my left, there is the bed built into the window with controls around the bed to monitor everything that happens in the ship. Above the bed in the very frame of the window, which is of long hexagonal shape. The window has a black metal-colored blind that closes and opens automatically. There are no curtains. Behind me and where the armchair is, there are more places for containers. Not much room to decorate. Leaving my room, there are 6 other doors leading to 6 other bedrooms, totaling 7, like the seats in the front. That is, there are 4 tiny bedrooms with their bathrooms on the starboard side, right side, and 2 equally small bedrooms on the port side, that is, left side, with a third one between them twice the size, which is the captain's chamber, which is mine. Total 7. The last 2 bedrooms to the rear contain the equivalent of electrical capacitors and equipment that I installed to increase the ship's power, part of the motors that power them. Off this hallway, there is the eat-in kitchen. In the center, and blocking the way, there is a round table with screens above, surrounding it, and controls in the center. This entire area is white. Looking back to the left, there is the stove and 3 ovens, and the work table, where the food is prepared manually. It can be on automatic, but I don't like it. To your right, there are the cupboards and refrigerators. If you walk to the back, past yet another pneumatic door, there is another hallway with smoke-colored transparent walls with electric controls for everything. On the floor, there is another door leading to the hull engineering area. Another whole floor below the current one, but full of gadgets and wires, tubes and all. Then, walking to the back, you come to another compartment in the same shape as the galley. On the walls, you find equipment in its drawers or containers. 7 entire spacesuits in vertical containers hanging there with transparent lids. In the center, there is the receiver of the tractor beam, where the things or people to be moved arrive or depart from. The apparatus itself is white with silver. It is like a sphere of 2.6 meters in diameter, and it is located on the floor below, just below this point marked on the floor with a wheel and a solid grid. In the tractor beam room, next to the spacesuits, there are also the first aid medical supplies, complete with a medbod on each side. That is, with a total of 2. They are horizontal, white with glass dome-like cylinders, half white, half transparent. And if we walk through another door, we pass through another corridor with ship's spare parts containers. And passing through yet another door, we enter the engineering area, all white, even the floor, only with aluminum-colored borders. At the back, there are 2 consoles with holograms above with technical data for each of the reactors. There are 2, side by side. They are independent 0-point reactors, quartz Merkaba base in 0 gravity, and they never need to be recharged. On the sides, 2 corridors surrounding each side of the reactors. In each one, access to reactor maintenance and cooling systems. They also lead down to the engineering floor that runs the length of the ship below the main floor or deck that I now describe. As we pass through 2 doors, especially strong and thick extreme pressure bulkheads, we enter an engine control room, the back of the engines. Again, control consoles on both sides with hologram gauges and traditional displays. 2 huge white cylinders. The back of each engine protrudes into the room and disappears into the back wall. This area is full of tidy cables and all kinds of containing piping. And in this area, only the magnetic shafts of the 2 motors can be serviced. These are the 2 white cylinders, huge, about 5 meters long by 1.5 meters wide or so. Below, on the engineering deck, you can see other points of the engines. Regarding the engines, these are a magnetic turbine with an individual power of 2.5 TeV, potentiated to 3.5 TeV power. Combined, 5 TeV to 7 TeV of magnetic power output in the form of high-pressure plasma. TeV equals trillions of electron volts. 2 counter-rotating electromagnetic plasma turbines powered by 2 0-point reactors on the floating quartz crystal base. Also, down below in the engineering deck area or floor, there are gravity cancellation generators at strategic points on the hull and artificial gravity systems by magnetic specific frequency flow. These gravity cancellers or gravity generators act as control surfaces as would be the ailerons and rudders for a conventional aircraft. I have described the inside of the ship as well as I can. The only details missing are that the lighting comes from lamps on the floor, on the edges of the walls, and on the edges of the ceiling. The lamps are in the shape of ivy, where all the leaves are the ones that illuminate the interior, and the tone of the lighting or interior color varies as you want. The name Suzy has nothing to do with Susanna, but it is a name that is the acronym of some words in a taigeta. The words would be Sasakahana, which would mean advanced, Urik Nazaka, which would mean combat or hunting, Zurka, which would mean technology, Ineketa Skew, meaning starship. Suzy is the first of her kind, Suzy class. That's why it is named after her. When they are close, they integrate. They pass data like with a high-speed USB, in a manner of speaking. This is done by muons, neutrino transmission. It's why data is passed in real time, because in itself they are harmonics of a frequency encoded as messages. The neutrinos only serve to create those harmonics. Back to Suzy. Wrong silhouette, right silhouette. Another conversation.
The Suzy, I think, is 100 by 100 women's design, isn't it?
Yes, the Suzy is 100% female design. The main differences are that this Suzy doesn't have those things with cannons on the tips of the wings. They are normal wings, and that's it. The cannons, 4, are at the front.
Only the interior will be modified for the living beings.
If you have a human form, you need things that go with that form, like chairs, tables, doorknobs. Not everything is automated. A lot of times, simple is more practical. Many advanced ships will have state-of-the-art systems where it matters, and simple, reliable systems elsewhere. This is to improve their reliability. For example, Suzy 2 class ship is state-of-the-art for taigeta. It has turbine systems that are revolutionary. However, the main access ramp goes up and down with hydraulic pistons that you would see as run-of-the-mill. But once that door or branch closes, the polymorphic hull seals in one piece. So you can see old and reliable working simultaneously with very advanced technology. Everything could be done with the polymorphous metal. The problem is that for safety, if something goes wrong with these systems, they would be impossible for a deep space crew to fix. So we still have to use things that can be fixed by hand, with a toolbox. Super advanced is not always better or safer. Like a 97 Mercedes, it lasts forever and you can fix it. Or a 2020 Mercedes that falls apart at the end of its warranty and no one can repair it, not even at the dealership it came from. What makes Suzy's different? Their technology is the most advanced in fighter class technology, including engines. Are Suzy's the only kind in the Sandclog teams? Negative. They are also using Pulsar class fighters. Sandcloak is only the user, the squadrons. A squadron is made of 12 fighter ships. Sandcloak is one of the 2 main users. The second is fleet defense for the queens, and that is this squadron here, military branch. Okay, and how would you define a Sandcloak group? An elite group of fighter squadrons trained as Special Operations Air Group and with full temporal manipulation knowledge and training for strategic purposes. And any pilot can have a Suzy, or is it only for the Sandcloak? They are special for Sandcloak, only those can. And if all ships can jump in time, hyperspace, then why the Suzy only for the Sandcloak? They can jump with any ship anyway, can't they? Because they have equipment that is considered classified to even Taygeta standards, and the fighter ships of the Federation itself. What I can say is that the metallurgy itself and many of the non-metallic materials are also special and more resistant.